Most times men struggle with rejection is because they wasn't taught by their father and their man in their life on how to deal with it. They was probably more than likely taught by their mother, you know, like JR, let's go back first thing around, taught by a woman. He was taught by a woman on how to deal with rejection in her way. Well, if a man taught him how to reject, because most of the time, you're going to go up to bat 10 times. You may only get 3 hits out of their 10. We're going to get rejected way more than we're going to get yes. Way more than we're going to get yes. So a man will teach him how to handle rejection, how to move when you do get rejected. Just keep it moving. Don't get mad, upset, cuss out. Don't say, just move on. You never know. Because guess what? Later on down the line, maybe 2 hours later, she see you again. She, like y'all said, the woman was in a bad mood. She just lost a goddamn job. Or she's going through some shit with a baby daddy or something. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, maybe she's in a better mood and she's ready to receive whatever you have to say to her. And now she's ready to hand you the number. Why? Because, she's at ease. But at first, you was rejected by God. I don't feel like I'm not in your mood. No for other reason other she just not in the mood. But, men handle rejection differently. If a real man would have told that man how to handle rejection in that situation, it probably would have been different. Now, you need to protect yourself at all times. You got to do certain things. So I agree with somebody said, get a Google number, hand out if that's the case. Protect yourself. Do what you got to do. We know there's some asshole dudes out here that do some silly shit. They childish and they act like little bitch boys. They out here. So you got to make sure you be careful when you deal with those type of dudes. You can kind of tell those type of dudes where they move and where they operate from a distance. You need to just steer clear. Don't go around them. That's all.
All right, go ahead, Allie.
I just think this topic is just very interesting for me because I spent I have experiences both in real life as well as online, where for nearly a decade, I had to go to work and put on a smile. No matter what you were thinking about my job, I worked in gaming and entertainment for nearly a decade. You had to smile at all of your guests because that was $50 to $100 a head. And you have to be extra smiley to those VIPs. So it's, there were times early on in my career where I'd be walking the floor and I'm doing what I'm doing, and men would come up to me and say, smile, and then I'm like, oh yeah, shoot, that's the rule. 5'10", 5 feet away from the person, you smile and make eye contact. 10 feet away, you look at them and wave, so I feel like that's probably why I almost always have like a smile in working in marketing. But it's a delicate dance because you have to know that audience and that person, because there was an instance where we had a heavy hitter blackjack player, right? Would always stop and talk to me. I'd be on my P's and Q's, suited and booted, do my thing, talk, da-da-da. Dude followed me home, Dudes are crazy, wanted my information, all that sort of stuff. I handled it how I needed to with, what I needed to do at the casino. And I think these are the men that struggle are the men that have a weird fixation, and then they go on social media and they don't have that intelligence to understand that all of our socials are our own personal brands. That doesn't mean that you know the person, but they can become utterly fixated and not know how to intelligently handle that. And then they lose sight of how to properly interact with a lady. So I think because of media, because of communications, because of those things, I think more and more men are struggling with rejection. Now, that was my experience in real life, so my experience online would be to that. The video that you played, JR, a lady not wanting to give out her number, I'm extra cautious on that as well, because in technology, if someone has your number, they have access to information once they have that. So I prefer to, like last year, I would schedule a date through the online dating app or whatever. And I don't prefer to give out my number until I meet this individual in person, feel out the vibe, gather more information. And there are men who have gotten quite angry and weird about it. Like, I need your number. And I'm like, why? I'm communicating to you through the app. I'm trying to make sure I'm not getting catfished either. And again, it goes back to what I believe, which is that men have a harder time reeling back that fixation of what they're seeing in person and online. So unless they're cognizant of that and have maybe one of their boys be like, man, her Instagram is, I've heard this before. She looks like that on Instagram, but not like that in real life. Like, slow down, I think as men, if they do a better job of communicating amongst each other and amongst their peers and reminding them of that, they would do a better job of dealing with rejection as well. So.
Okay. Let me just check around. Anybody want to add anything? Val, Saint? Yeah, go ahead, Saint.
Well, I'm a firm believer in like treating people kind when you first meet them. You never know who you're talking to. You never know who you're dealing with. And I can be as nice as possible when I meet these guys, when you're rejecting them. And it still don't work sometimes. So, I start talking about bills and problems. And then then they leave me alone. They don't want my number anymore. So girls, ladies, use that tip. If they're bothering you and you don't want to give out your number, start telling them that you're behind on your bills. And then they're gonna leave you alone. They're gonna run away. But it's just a joke, okay? But yeah, you can be as kind, and sometimes, a lot of times they'd be like, give me your number, and they'll dial your number right then and there to make sure you gave them the right number. So I do give out my number. Of course, I probably don't call or respond. A lot of times they actually don't really call or bother me. But I'm pretty friendly. I'm pretty cool with everybody I run into. You never know who you might meet. You never know who's who they may become, anything. Like, there might be an angel that God is sending you. So I'm just always very kind and loving, and I want people to feel seen. I want people to feel heard. I really believe in treat people how you want to be treated. But as far as smiling, of course, I'm big on smiling. I live in Chicago, so they're like, you walk around with a smile on your face, they're looking at you like you're weird. They be like, you fake, something wrong with you. But I'm just always happy, like you said, we could be going through so much. Life can be life, and I'm still alive, so I'm gonna be smiling. I'm gonna find something to smile about. But yeah, I don't really get irritated when they be like, smile, beautiful, but I can see why women get irritated because they do that a lot. But yeah, that's all I wanted to add.
Yeah. And one of the things that women do too is they give you their social media because they know that they can just block you. So a lot of women will curve you. 9 times out of 10, she probably not interested in getting the social media, because if she really was, she'll give you that number right off top. But also too, just so you ladies know, they do have Google Voices. They have some other apps and things you can create a digital number that you can give out. So in an event you find yourself in a situation, you got to make a decision, then you have that number on deck. You can possibly say, hey, well, give me your phone, I'll put my number in there. Or you dial his number, you can dial it from that digital number. So just an option.
And let me just say this. I think that says, is it Ali? Is that your name? Girl, I don't have my glasses on.
It's Ali.
Yeah.
Look, so, and I think she made a good point. You have to remember, you can access a lot of our person just by having their phone number. Nowadays, your address will come up. Everything about you will come up just by having a phone number. So it is so important that you give out a Google number, unless it's somebody that you truly know, or something that you've done your investigation on and everything, because it's crazy now. It's too much access to people's information readily available nowadays.
Well, Shan, men have to do their investigation too, because women have no problem.
For sure. Women, listen, and that's why we have this conversation about men. I wanted to say, y'all gotta be careful about these women too. You better be careful.
Because y'all can get away with it. That's the thing. Like, y'all can I have a homeboy.
Men underestimate some women. That's the problem.
No, what I'm saying, I have a homeboy, one of my good friends. He went to the dentist's office, and it was one of the hygienists who was interested in him. They literally text him after, they was interested. They were flirting in the office, but then when he got home, he got a text message from one of them. It was like, yo, it was good. And I'm thinking, if that was flipped around, a nigga could damn near be in cuffs. behind that. You know what I mean? That's so unprofessional, but because she's cute, you know, got them things on her, you know, it's like, I give you a pass. So I
He
ain't gonna
probably
send
talked to her and everything.
I ain't gonna send you to jail for 5 years. You good.
Is anybody that haven't spoken on this shit that I missed?
It was just going to be real quick about the smiling thing again. One of the things that I saw that works where you don't have to actually say, won't you smile, is you initiate the smile. I've experienced that where somebody's walking past and, you know, they make eye contact and smile. It's just kind of like an automatic response that you smile to.
Like
So
that
that's
head nod, like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair.
speaking.
That
make you do.
that's kind of 50-50 though, because if you know what I'm saying, one for definitely is say, man, this creep is smiling at me. You know, if we both at the restaurant, I'm looking across, I smile, you look up, don't smile, you look back again, I'm still smiling at you. Now you creepy as hell.
Well, I mean, giving out smiles that far across the room is kind of like you're just walking by somebody. Like, are you staring at her and looking? And it's just like,
right. We're talking about being in the parking lot, going to the store, or something like that.
Right, okay, that's fair.
And we're passing each other, and I look at you, and you just nod, like,
exactly. You literally like, you know, and it automatically makes you smile back. So.
Biz be in the restaurant at a table and be looking at a chick way across, just staring at her. What? Bitch, don't do that.
Hey, but let me close it out with this though. I think one thing, especially towards the guys, we don't say this enough, or I think that we stopped saying it because it's cliche now in this YouTube world or whatever. But rejection is a part of the game. You're going to get rejected. Don't act like a peon and show out and be emotional in the moment. Take that rejection and learn from it and find the next one. Don't be a peon. We got too many peons out here. Now, I think that men aren't calling that shit out for what it is. You're a lame ass nigga if you do any of this shit. Stop doing it. Period.
I think so. Some of the you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think sometimes when we have those situations when men do get rejected and they act out in that way is because they have already pegged in the woman that they're approached that she had no reason to reject them, right? There's a certain level as in, okay, well, I think that me and her is on the same level. There should be no reason why she doesn't like me per se. And so in a way they kind of feel like, well, who are you to reject me? Like some even have stated before that they're like, wait a minute, I'm just giving you a shot. Like, who are you to reject me? How dare you have this inflated ego that you think that you can reject me, or that you was in form or fashion like, oh no, don't bother me. Like some people have that. And it's not only just men, women do it too. You know, they were like, ew, don't talk to me. I mean, we even actually seen a situation like that last night where, you know, just approaching a woman and the way how she approached the situation, she was approaching it as in, oh, you're bothering me, you know, like whatever not. And to me, I thought that was rude. Like if you didn't want to interact, you just said, no, thank you and have a good day. But you decided to act like you didn't know how to speak English and then proceed to go into the conversation and then want to leave. So it's when people believe that they look at someone and they already, you know, pin them out as this person doesn't have a, they shouldn't be feeling that highly of themselves. So it should just be like a regular, normal interaction, and it doesn't happen that way.
So what you just described was a man who acts like a woman because he learned that shit from his goddamn mammy. That's exactly what you described right then and there. A boy who learned that shit from his mammy, who don't know how to handle rejection, because most women do not know how to handle rejection. If a man rejects you, you gay. What's wrong with you? Why don't you like, you don't want to hear me? You want to talk to me? You don't like women? That's the first thing. They just can't handle rejection. So you got a boy who was taught by his mother, again, taught on not how to deal with rejection. But his father was in his life. His father was in the picture. He would have got on. No, that's how you move, dog. Please believe me. I got rejected from your mother when I first got with her. But guess what? I was persistent. And I stayed with it. And now guess what? We married.
I agree
I
with
think
that.
that would be a lady with more masculine energy, though, because the man should be pursuing the lady. That's my perspective on that.
Now, what I'm talking about, what MJ just described was a boy who act like his mother because he been rejected by a woman. Men know about rejection. We accept rejection. 90% of us accept and okay and dealing with rejection. You got them 10% that's not.
No, but to your comment of women don't know how to accept rejection, well, that lady's probably not laying in her role. She's being too masculine.
Because we don't
Right
usually do the pursuing. We don't usually do the chasing. We usually, receive. That's the feminine is receiving.
Yeah, I think
she's doing too much. She's doing too much from the beginning. If it heads to that point where she starts to throw insults.
I agree.
Well,
Like, I think it's different, right? Because go ahead.
I think that the rejection just happens at a different stage of the relationship.
That's exactly what I was about to say, Ms. Mona. I was about to say that. I was like, usually when it comes down to rejection, it happens in the front end for men and it comes in the back end for women. But we still nonetheless deal with rejection still the same.